What is the missional church? Contrary to popular opinion or practice, the missional church is not a new ministry paradigm that you can kind of buy and sell with the purchase of a new staff member, or whatever it might be, or the implementation of a few books that have influenced you. The missional church is far more than just a buzzword or a ministry paradigm that's popular and can come and go off the scene like so many things in the Christian marketplace. The missional church, it reflects a situational and a theological and a missiological and an ecclesiological shift that's occurred in the church's life in the past 100 years. The situational shift is that the church in the Western world, in Europe, in North America, in Australia, and some of these places where it has held predominance of influence, is now on the wane. It's becoming the minority again, and is having to reconsider what it means to do mission, not overseas, but what it means to do mission as a people right here, right now, in our community, because of the loss of influence and presence. And so it represents a situational shift where Christianity is on the wane and losing influence. But it also represents a theological shift. Particularly a few theologians in the last 100 years have been wrestling with whether or not missions is something that we do or is tied to an attribute of who God is. Whether or not missions is merely redemptive in orientation or reflects a sending characteristic in the heart of God, a sending that can be recreative and redemptive. Missiologically, the missional church represents a new age for church ministries, where missions ceases to be a program area in the life of the church and becomes really one of the orientating, defining principles of who she is as a community, as a people. What that means is that we have to think about how we speak in the public space. We have to realize that a lot of our terminology is foreign and is not domestic any longer. Our storyline, our main characters, Jesus, Abraham, Moses, are becoming less and less familiar to our culture and our surrounding. It means that we have to learn our culture stories and learn how to articulate them and read them in light of our own biblical storyline. It means that we have to reconsider what it means to be a community and what it means to be culturally engaging in our setting, in our public square. It represents all these shifts, which is an ecclesiological shift. We have to no longer be the traditional church that treats missions as a budget line item, but we have to be the missional church that sees our corporate calling as one of mission, one of sending. To quote Stanley Hauerwas, we have to see ourselves as resident aliens, or as Jim Belcher says, as cultural aliens who are sent with redemptive, recreative callings into our office places, into our homes, into our neighborhood communities, into our cities. The missional church is all of these things and more. The terminology that we use to talk about it will shift and change, but these major four pieces will remain because the church is entering a new era of history, an era much like its beginning and yet different. And that is going to call for all kinds of practitioner kind of conversations to go on, what it means to be the church today. That is the missional church.